Hi, welcome to Blaze Cooks. I'm Blaze. Now, I've been crucified over the last 6 months by certain viewers who are very upset that I didn't put sesame paste or tahini in the hummus that I had done on a video about 7 months ago. And after so many complaints, I decided that I will right this ship and I will make hummus tahini. Now, you gotta understand, hummus or chickpea spread is a perfectly acceptable dip for parties. That is chickpea spread without tahini. But for those viewers who just didn't like the fact that I didn't put the sesame paste in my hummus, here we go. I'm going to use canned chickpeas because I've done the fresh or the dried beans and rehydrated them, but for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to do canned. Not to mention, these were on sale for 30 cents a can at my supermarket, which I think is incredibly cheap. So that's why we're going to use canned, one of the many reasons we're going to use the canned beans, chickpeas. Now, we're also going to put in the juice of half a lemon. This is subjective. You could put in a whole lemon, you could put in less than half the juice of half a lemon. It really depends what you like. And if you want to match a particular culture's hummus tahini, go on websites and see how Syrians make it, or Egyptians, or Israelis. They all make it a little differently. And we're going to drizzle in olive oil as we process this. And we're also going to put in garlic. Now, I've showed you before. All we do is put the side of a heavy chef's knife, this is a smaller one, a 6-inch chef's knife, onto the garlic clove, and you just bash it a little bit. You don't want to hit it too hard, you'll crush the garlic into smithereens here. It'll go all over your kitchen. Push that aside, and then you cut off this hard tip here. You don't want that, because that won't help the dish any. And then we're just going to chop this. Okay, now that's all 4 cloves of garlic. And I'm only going to put half of these in now, because these are 2 cans of chickpeas, right? I am going to make 2 versions of hummus tahini. I'm going to make classic hummus tahini, that is the chickpeas with the tahini, the garlic, the lemon juice, olive oil, some salt, some pepper. And then I'm going to take out half of that. And then in the remaining half, I'm going to add the chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, which I've processed with some olive oil into a great paste that can be used as a condiment in this type of food, and Mexican food, a lot of different kinds of food. So let's see if I got about half the garlic in there. Got the garlic in there. Put one of those coarse ends in there. And then we're going to put the lid on, and we're going to just process this with olive oil drizzled in. I got it in my trusty Elijah Craig empty bourbon bottle. They're great. They got a nice cork top. And we're going to just start processing this. You can also thin it out with water or more citrus. You know, you don't want it too oily. And I think I'm about good with the olive oil. That was about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. It's still pretty thick, so I'm going to add a little water, and I'm just going to use my lemon, my Zillis juicer to get the water right now. And I'll drizzle this in just like I did the olive oil. And it shouldn't take all this. That's good. Now I'm going to scrape down the sides now. Get one of my rubber spatulas. Of course, my fans will totally not forgive me if I don't put the tahini in here. It's amazing. I must have some kind of mental block about putting my tahini in my hummus tahini. That's about a tablespoon of tahini. Tahini's very strong, so you want to be careful that you don't use too much, at least for your taste. Now, as you can see, it gets a real gorgeous color as it's processed longer. And that is just beautiful, pale yellow, almost a lemon yellow, and it's pretty thick. See, it's not falling off the spoon, but that's the way I like it. Because I'm using the canned beans, I really don't need much salt added to this. But you always have to taste. I'm going to just process it just a little bit more. Now I'm going to scoop out, like I said, about half of this. So there's the regular hummus tahini. And then with this remaining tahini, or hummus tahini, I'm going to put in the remaining half of garlic, and this is the spread that I've made. It is let me zoom in here for you guys. It is the chipotle chili peppers in adobo sauce. Here's one of the many brands. There's usually 3 main brands you'll find. I mean, I love it, but it's like I overdo it with eating it because I put in a heaping teaspoon. That might be pushing it, but I like pushing it. And one other thing I'd like to add, excuse me, is more lime juice. Lime juice does have somewhat of a countervailing effect on that spiciness. And I'm going to just reuse my Zilla zester. I'm going to use the fat side because I use that on the lemon. If I flip it over, I'll get seeds and lemon pulp in it. And I just don't feel like rinsing it out. And this fatter side of the Zilla's zester, Zilla's juicer will work just fine. So I'm going to use a half of a lime. So you figure 1 can of chickpeas, a heaping teaspoon of the puree of the chipotle peppers with the adobo sauce, a half of a lime, and what amounts to those 2 cloves of garlic that I added, plus whatever kind of lingered over from what was already in there. And I'm just going to mix this in a little bit with the rubber spatula, and then we're going to process again. Going to scrape down the sides. A little awkward pulling that off. And I know I haven't tasted it, but I guess I'm a little overconfident that it's going to be plenty salty. The only thing I risk is too hot. It's pretty hot, but tolerable. At least for people who like hot. So put this over here. And it's another absolutely beautiful color. It's sort of a kind of a pale orange, yeah, almost like a butternut squash color after it's been roasted. And I think between the spicy hummus and the regular hummus, I got a lot of bases. I'm going to garnish the plain with chopped parsley, excuse me, and then this most likely will be garnished with chopped cilantro. It definitely has the flavors that people expect in spicy food, not necessarily in Middle Eastern hummus, but definitely in something flavored with the chipotle. But again, if you want to do something else with it, go for it. Just think of how your flavors have been combined in previous recipes you've done, and feel free to apply those things you've learned to new dishes like these types of chickpea spread or bean spreads. See you next time.